Prince Harry and actress Meghan Markle during an official photo call to announce their engagement. Credit Chris JacksonGetty Images. Europe. Many people will always have a soft spot for Prince Harry. Who will forget that heartrending image of the 12-year-old boy walking unhappily alongside his older brother behind his mother's coffin? No child should be asked to do that, he was to say many years later. It is hardly surprising that the public found it easy to forgive indiscreet hijinks in Las Vegas, as well as being glad that Harry seemed to find a purpose in the army. There is a long tradition of royals who have been blocked from marrying who they want to, but Harry's happiness at not joining them, instead getting to marry who he chooses, will be widely shared. Harry and Meghan Markle after the announcement of their engagement. Credit PA BBC. And falling in love with Meghan Markle, an American, a divorcee, and a television actress of mixed ethnic heritage, Harry may have crossed several red lines that might have prevailed among the courtiers in the 1930s, the 1970s or even the 1990s. But British society has changed, which explains why the royal family is changing with it. Prince Harry's lifetime has seen a rapid transformation in attitudes towards mixed-race relationships in Britain. When he was born, in 1984, over half of the public expressed discomfort with mixed-race relationships, according to British social attitudes data. As late as 1993, 44% thought they would be worried if their child was to marry across ethnic lines. FKA Twigs L and Robert Pattinson. Credit Larry JacksonGetty. Yet that anxiety has collapsed in a generation, with only 15% expressing such discomfort by 2013, falling to just 5% among under 25s. For the Harry and Meghan generation, interracial relationships are no longer an exotic rarity but the new normal. In today's Britain, 1/10 of relationships cross ethnic lines and 1/10 of children are growing up with parents of different ethnicities. The mixed-race population doubled in the 2011 census to over 1 million, though research suggests that twice as many people have ethnically mixed parentage. If Harry and Meghan have children, they would probably find themselves part of the ever-increasing number of Britons who struggle to decide which census, ethnicity, boxes to tick. That welcome example of the lived reality of integration will put pressure on the way we talk about race and categorize it, too. This royal engagement won't transform social attitudes towards race in Britain, not least because it does not really need to do that. What the monarchy can do is to play a role in helping to ratify some of the social changes that have already happened. David Bowie and wife Iman, pictured in 1993, were one of Britain's highest-profile mixed-race couples. Credit Rex Shuttertalk. It would be absurd to think a royal engagement could do any of the policy heavy lifting to address the scale of racial inequalities captured by the government's race disparity audit last month. Yet one reason that we retain our constitutional monarchy is because symbolism plays an important social role, too. There has been plenty of black in the Union Jack over the last couple of decades, to which our sporting teams, literature and bear testimony. It has been suggested that those changes reaching all the way up to the royal family would be too hard for a public, obsessed with purity, to stomach. To bring non-white blood into the royal family is seen as the ultimate scandal, historian Kate Williams wrote in an feature last autumn. Meghan Markle and her mother, Doria Ragland, the closing ceremony for the Invictus Games in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Credit Mark BLINCHREUTERS. That scandal seemed very well disguised indeed on the newspaper front pages celebrating the engagement yesterday morning. It is certainly possible to find vile racist comments about Meghan Markle by scraping the bottom of comment sections, but we should never take the toxic fringe as a proxy for what Britain really thinks. Nor is there much need for the Harry and Meghan wedding to transform ethnic minority views of the monarchy, where it is already popular. The journalist Yasmin Alibay-Brown doubtless exaggerates a little when she writes that I am the only black or Asian Republican I have ever met, but British republicanism is a strikingly white affair, in part because the monarchy is central to the Commonwealth story of empire and decolonization, which underpins the strong ethnic minority sense of being British. Britain's Princess Elizabeth, future Queen Elizabeth II, and Philip, Duke of Edinburgh pose on their wedding day, the 20th of November 1947, in Buckingham Palace. Credit Sturdy Images. Has not the long story of the British monarchy itself been that of 1,000 years of both immigration and integration? Recasting its Norman, Dutch and German origins into the sturdy English oak of the Windsors. 7 decades after our current queen married her dashing migrant prince, Britain will now greet its first mixed-race princess with a shrug of the shoulders and the usual festivities. A multi-ethnic Britain was bound to have a multi-ethnic monarchy eventually. The royal wedding of 2018 will not just be a happy day for Harry and Meghan, it may be a day, too, to put out the bunting as we notice both how Britain has changed, and how our changing Britain is still Britain, all the same. Sundar Katwala is director of the Identity and Integration think tank, British Future.